How will you describe yourself today?
If I describe myself today, I would like to say that I see myself as a problem solver and a bridge builder.
Okay, define what is mentor. And my second question is like, how someone can be a good mentor? What does good mentor means? What about the mentee? Let's talk about mentee and how someone can be good.
Absolutely, now that's the real question. How can you be a good mentor? That's my motto in life. And that's based on the motto is I will not allow what is not in my control to prevent me from doing what is in my control.
Hello, and welcome to Let's Go Officials. I'm your host Mirza, and today I have with me a truly very special guest. He's the author of 40 books, a great photographer, has traveled more than 15 countries. He is a founder, entrepreneur, and has served on the board of tech companies. He is an advisor to the College of Theologians in South Africa and Sri Lanka. He has over 40 years of experience in leadership development, succession planning, and family business transformation. He is an Islamic scholar specializing in promoting growth while remaining Sharia compliant, and he served as Imam at the Islamic Society of Western Massachusetts and Hampshire Mosque. He is a chaplain in Springfield College and Westfield State University, and he is also an advisor to UMass Amherst. Let's welcome the one and only Mirza Yawar Baig. Let me welcome him with the Islamic greeting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So nice to be here with you.
Thank you. Sir, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Sir, my introduction barely sketch all the great things, experience you have done so far. Could you please take the stage and explain or tell a little more about yourself? How will you describe yourself today?
If I describe myself today, I would like to say that I see myself as a problem solver and a bridge builder. Problem solver and bridge builder. I do that in several ways, and one of the ways in which I do it the most, enjoy it the most, and have the greatest success is working with startups and working with family businesses. I do that in three ways. One is through working with the founders as a sounding board and as an advisor. Because being a founder, being a CEO, being a startup head is very often a lonely job. And one of the ways in which you are lonely is that you really have no one with whom you can share your apprehensions and fears. Because if you do that with your subordinates, and you are the top, so everybody is subordinate, it freaks them out. They want to see you as a pillar of strength. But we are all human. So when you are at the top, you have your own anxieties, you have your own fears, and almost no one to talk to. And that's where somebody like me comes in, because I can walk that path with you, because I have walked that path myself, and you can confide in me completely. I'm like a steel vault. What goes in doesn't come out, and nobody, on the pain of death, can take that out from me. So you can be completely frank with me, total integrity, total honesty, and most importantly, I will tell you what I know you need to hear, not what you like to hear.
Okay.
So at that level, usually the problem is people have a lot of sycophants is a strong word, but a lot of people who will talk to them because they see them as a source of revenue, source of power, source of authority. So they will sing their own tune. Now you don't want that as the top person, as the business family head, as the founder. You do not want people simply to say yes sir to everything. You want somebody to say, excuse me, I think that is going to create a mess. I think this is not a good idea. You need someone to say that. most people will not, almost nobody will. That's where somebody like me comes in. And I will tell you, that doesn't mean I will not praise you. I will praise you if that is deserved. But if there is something that you're doing which is a mistake, I will tell you that. So that's the first way in which I help them. Second way is through helping them move from being person-led to being process-driven. That's a very important thing in scaling of organizations. Any entrepreneurship starts with the individual, and it is person-led by definition, has to be. But unless you can scale that and convert the goodness of the individual into processes which are replicatable, you will never grow. So growth is dependent on changing from being person-led to being process-driven. And the third way I help them is by succession planning and mentoring of successors. So in your organization, typical question I ask you, for example, I ask you, Bharat, you are an entrepreneur. If you drop dead now, who is ready to take your position? I want you to give me a name. Now.
Right now,
Fail.
maybe my co-founder can be funny, I'm failed.
Not maybe. Absolute certainty. Absolute certainty. That's required. I'm just saying, may Allah give you a long and healthy life. But I'm just saying, this must be what a founder should be able to do. Wake him up in the middle of the night and say, if you die now, who takes your position? Must give me a name. And that person whose name this person has named, the person he has named, that man or woman, if we do a complete audit on that person must be fit to be the CEO. That's the standard I hold to myself, and that's the standard I hold anyone who deals with me. I hold them to that standard. Right? Another question I ask them is, in the next 3 years, what will kill your business? Okay. Again, these are things I expect them to answer me straight away without thinking. Why? Because you have been thinking about this throughout your life. This is a constant thing in the back of your head to say, what will kill my business in the next 3 years? And I'm working on it from today. A lot of people get very complacent, especially if you're doing well. Yeah, well, everything, I'm making money, I'm doing this, I'm traveling, whatnot, I'm living the high life. You get complacent. Believe me, that's where you get caught. And then you have nowhere to go, because especially in tech areas, but not only in tech areas, the world is changing. People are changing, opportunities are changing, technology is changing. And if you are not on top of it, if you are not anticipating and saying, what is going to kill me in the next 3 years, believe me, you are dead already. So that's what I do.
Oh, okay, this is interesting. Sheikh, thank you. I'm also a founder, and I never thought of this question. So I have a couple of questions, but I will go from the reverse. The last one you said. Okay, you say that there should be someone who can replace me. Even if I die today, there should be someone. But in the context of a startup, like even at this moment, I'm having a hard time to build the first generation member. How can I think about my second generation?
Yeah. So therefore, you have an excuse, and you have a legitimate excuse.
Okay.
But that's only because I know when you started and so on, right? But if I talk to you 1 year from now, I won't accept this.
Okay.
So the question is that there's always a question: when do I start thinking of the second generation? And there's no holy number. You can't say on the 12th day of the 3rd year. No. But as the sooner you do that, the stronger you will be. Now, especially as a founder, especially as even if you have co-founders, initial stages, founders run around like headless chickens, right? Run around because everyone who's the go-to person, me.
Yeah.
So if this garbage bin has to move from here to there, who must do it? I must do it. So yes, you must do it. I agree with you. But the point is that you must also think in terms of the future. Now, I'm not saying just build an organization as in build bureaucracy. That's the second, the other kind of mistake people make. When they build an organization, they just recruit people. So you had 2 people who were doing all the work. Now you have 20 people doing the same work. Now that is bad. That is very bad, because then you're just building bureaucracy. And then those people, in order for them to exist, what do? They put roadblocks. Every piece of paper must be signed by me. I must approve this, I must approve that. So at the end of that, the organization becomes disconnected with the actual customer. The organization processes get slowed down. This you don't need. This you do not need. So I have a tool I use. I ask people, take the number of people you have, divide it by your revenue, right? Divide your revenue by the number of people, and tell me how much revenue is each person contributing.
Okay.
So now it's not an academic exercise. For example, if you say I'm making $1 million and I've got 1,000 people, it's 1 million divided by 1,000. No, that million is coming from which of these 1,000 people? So you will find that out of the 1,000 people, you've got 10 people who are contributing 50% of that million.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas the other people, they are contributing many of them are actually contributing nothing. For example, HR people. I mean, in my opinion, all HR departments must be sacked. They do absolutely no useful work. All they do is to pretend to take away the work of the line manager and do that for him by saying human relations we will deal with. That's nonsense. Human relations is the line manager's work. Line managers must be trained to deal with people, not shift them off to some HR manager to deal with, right? So anyway, that's it. I don't want to go get sidetracked. So the question that you asked is that build the organization but don't build bureaucracy, and definitely look at successors. So there's no magic number, must be done in 1 year, 2 years, but as the sooner you do that, the stronger your organization will be.
You said look at the successor. Can you please explain this or I can understand this?
Very simple. Look at the successor meaning who will take your place, who is ready to take your place. Now, even if the person is not absolutely ready, do you have a plan? Do you have someone on a track to say, this person, I am training him specifically in these areas so that he will become ready to take my place in 2 years, in 3 years. Do you have someone on that track? Now, in many family businesses, this is assumed. So, you say, who's the successor? My son. The fact that he is your son does not make him the successor. It's like saying, I'm flying a plane. Say I'm flying my favorite plane is a Boeing 777. Absolutely fabulous plane. So, say I'm flying a Boeing 777, like I'm saying that. Now you say, who can fly this plane? My son. Does your son have a license? Does your son, is he a pilot? Is your son cleared on 777s? What do you mean your son? The genes don't make him a pilot. It's very important. Now, if your son cannot fly a plane which costs, I don't know what the Boeing costs, 777 probably costs, I don't know. Anyway, let's say $1 million for the sake of, If your son is not fit to fly a plane costing $1 million unless he is qualified technically to fly that, how is your son qualified to run the whole Boeing company because he's your son?
Okay, I like it.
You get the point I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a lot of family businesses operate on this principle, and that's why they perish. So you have the first generation which literally puts their life blood into it to build the organization. Second generation in a lot of family businesses is really it kind of overlaps the first generation. So the first and second are almost the same in most places. Third generation inherits it. So the third generation kid is born in a Mercedes. The first generation went around on a scooter, right? So he knows the value of a Mercedes. Yeah. The third generation is born in a Mercedes. So as far as he's concerned, you walk into you get into some of those cars of these third generation people with their children. The car looks like a garbage can with 4 wheels, right? Everything of that kid is there: stinky shoes, stinky socks, half-eaten bagels. The car was, for God's sake, this is a Mercedes-Benz. Treat it with respect. Clean the damn thing, right? No. Because they used to it. I mean, that's for them, you don't bother about it. But the one who worked for it is the grandfather, and he is crying tears. Because the values have not been transferred. So that is why these, as far as succession is concerned, we need to identify potential successors and then groom them, mentor them and train them into the job, which will require technical training, which will require even more personality, personal training of how to deal with people, how to make deals, how to negotiate, how to arbitrate, how to resolve conflicts, right? How to make presentations, for example. Very simple. People, they have all the most beautiful knowledge in the world, but they have some accents are just very difficult to understand. So they have this crazy accent that nobody can understand. So all the knowledge they have, but nobody can understand what the guy is saying. And then their presentation skills are, they suck, really. So they don't know how to present that stuff. So the wealth of capability, information and so on is locked in. Only for this reason. So somebody's got to identify that and then say, okay, now I'm going to take you under my wing and I will guide you, I will train you. Most founders, most business heads, even if they identify, they don't have the time to do that. Because the guy's got to run the company. That's where somebody like me comes in and say, okay, you run the company, I run your succession plan, right? And then when these guys are ready, you bring them to you. You see if you like them, you don't like them, we do whatever we need to do.
Yeah, so thank you for already answering my question. I was about to say that because founders, CEO, they are very busy, so how they have time to nurture or go for everything, but there is a people like you who will come and teach this all the things. And thank you for explaining a lot. I think this was a great thing about the family business. Like it is not inherent. The knowledge skills should be transferred to the kids to take over that one. But again, I want to come back to the startup one. Okay, you said that this is one of the mistake that founder do, like bureaucrat. What are the other major problem that you see the founders or the other mistake founders are doing?
See, one of the things that business founders do is that because they, especially tech companies, two things happen in tech companies. Let me talk about tech companies and we go to others. The tech companies, usually the founder is a techie. So he is in his technology, he is the expert in that, he loves it, he knows it backwards, right? And usually he assumes that everybody else also can understand it in the same way. So now when it comes to, as long as he is with his machine, he's fine. But now he can't be there. He's got to go fundraising, he's got to go talk to the VCs, right? He's got to go and talk to, for example, potential people he wants to recruit, maybe in universities, colleges, wherever. So he's talking to the, now there he fails because he does not know how to take this technological thing and present it to those people in a way that makes sense to them. So I have a formula, I call it the FM station that everyone listens to, and that's called WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Okay.
Right? So if I am talking to a techie, I will talk technology language. But if I am talking to a VC, I'm not going to tell him this is the feature and blah blah blah. No. Hold on a second. My product is capable of running your gold mine, which is in the middle of the Rub al Khali, the hottest place on earth, in the middle of the summer, 200 feet under the ground, no humans involved. AI agents, robots, who you can talk to real time in English and Arabic. No accidents, no leave, no vacation, work 24/7. What do you think?
It's great.
You like that? Exactly. Now, I'm not talking to you about the way the robot is made, and I'm giving what's in it for me. As a VC, what's in it for you is revenue. I'm asking you for $100 million. What do I have for you? I have the following. Any founder who comes to you asking for $100 million will say to you, give me $100 million, I will go and make the product, I will sell it, and then your revenue stream, the reverse revenue stream starts for you, right? I've got a different plan. I am coming to here, I've got drones which do imaging in completely hostile environments, including under the sea, including on the moon.
Okay.
Those same drones can do crop spraying because they are heavy duty drones. You can take the same I bring the drones to you. You can take the same drones and the drone will do crop spraying. One drone will earn you $500,000 in a year. I'm asking you for 100 million. One drone will earn you $500,000 in a year. Right? Then I have robots who do mining. So we have drills which go out there, operated by robots. The drills take out the core, analyze it, and we open the mine. The mine can be under the ocean, it can be anywhere on the terrestrial, anywhere on the face of the earth, it can be on the moon. Number 3, I have launching pads and launching stations for rockets to go to the moon. What we don't have yet is a rocket engine and fuel. We have complete design for a rocket engine and solid fuel, which is 1/100th the price of SpaceX.
Okay.
Right? Now I can give you these rocket launching pads. You are paying, and I have the exact number of what you are paying to SpaceX to launch your satellites. You can launch your satellites from my launching pad for free.
Interesting.
Right? So now I am asking you for 100 million to fund all of this, but I am giving you in the process revenue streams starting from day 1. How do you like that idea?
I see, this is amazing. So now I see what mistake I am doing. Now I see that one. But there is one tricky part. Like, so how do you come up with the number? Like, okay, you are putting this and you are getting out this much. I think this is where we are lacking. I don't know, like, because I don't know how many people are going to download my app, and I don't know. So how can I say?
So
like,
work with virtual numbers. You don't know how many you will download, but say for example, my app, if it is downloaded by 1 million people, this is the revenue I will get.
Okay,
If it's down, so you can work with the virtual numbers. That's not difficult.
yeah, but they say that, okay, how are you going to make 1,000 or $1 million download? How are you going to make?
You must have a plan for that. You should have a plan. So how will you do that? So let me ask you this question. How will you get 1 million subscribers for your app? What's your plan?
Yeah, so our plan is like we are going to do the marketing. Marketing maybe because a lot of people are tech savvy, so we are thinking to hire some of the influencer. That is one. Push the ad on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Maybe make some content by ourselves, word to mouth. These are the couple of things that came to our mind.
Yeah. Let me say that, fine, do all of that. But what I would suggest is, if you have a demo which you can give to people for free, you don't need any influence on anybody. Give to people for free, right? Give it to them and say, use this, and give us feedback. You will create ambassadors for your product all over the world. Pick those people who are in high interaction environments, who talk to lots of people and so on and so forth. Give it to them for free. So you please use it.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So I think, okay, so there is another hard part about this. So I think our product is better for the millennium and generation X, the person who has a lot of expenses and they can use our card for the college student, they don't have a lot of expenses, all is college. So it is not good for them, but someone is parent, they have child, they have to pay for the house, they have to buy the grocery. How can we get to that customers?
Yeah. Good question. One of the ways, for example, I would say is go to say Costco. Go to Costco. Stand at the gate of Costco. Stand at the checkout counters. Those are the people.
But can we do that for police will not catch us?
No. That's a different issue. How will you negotiate that with Costco is a different issue. I'm saying, where will you find the people? That's where you find the people.
Okay.
Or go stand in the parking lot. Who will stop you? Now, exact modality, who do I need to speak to in Costco to do that? That's a different question. Right? So, maybe stand on the street, but I'm saying, where will you find these people? One fantastic place to find people like this, which you said, is something like Costco. Because that's where they're shopping. So, and they just spend something. They just use the card. Your card gives them, it optimizes and says, where do you get the maximum points and so on and so forth. So that is the group you're looking at. So go there and say, here is the app, go use it. And your revenue stream comes from their using, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So give it to them for free.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying give it to everyone for free always. No. To get started. This is part of your marketing expense. Instead of paying some dumb influencer to talk some garbage which they don't understand. I mean, really, I'm allergic to influencer, believe me, period. They talk some rubbish because somebody is paying them. Why do you want to pay them? Give the thing to the user free. Those users will talk to a lot more people and they have far better credibility than anybody else. Like you tell me I believe you much more than, Kim Kardashian or something on Instagram.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just gave you a marketing idea, isn't it?
Yeah, this was a great idea.
I give you free, so therefore I want a piece of your action.
Yeah, thank you. I will do that. This a lot of students watch our podcast, and you have like more than 40 years of experience in the startup business and this all the things. What is your message for the student? There is a two opinion. Like a lot of people say that I think people need to start the startup when you are college student because you have time and energy these things. A lot of people say that no, you start the business after college. What is your opinion about this?
First of all, tell them to read my book. My book is called An Entrepreneur's Diary. Right? I'll send you the link, you can put it in the podcast.
I'll put that.
Yeah, An Entrepreneur's Diary. I wrote it for this situation. My advice to anybody is start business the minute the idea comes to you. If the idea comes to you in the middle of the night, start business then. Now you might say, how? My startup. No, not my startup. Do something that means business. For example, break it down and say, no matter what kind of startup it is, what does it require? It requires selling, right? You need to be able to sell it. Go sell. Go sell anything. Take this water bottle. Go sell this. To anybody. The person walking, the lady who's doing all the cleaning up, go sell this to her. Sell this to her for 10 cents. I don't care. Sell it to her. The idea of selling, of actually going and talking to somebody and showing the benefits of what you are selling, I'm talking about that skill. That skill is independent of the kind of startup. Whether I'm selling Lamborghinis or whether I'm selling garbage bins, I still have to sell.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. First I have to build my Lamborghini. No. You need to know how to sell. So go learn how to sell. How? Right now, get out from your seat, go on the street, sell anything, sell rocks. The more useless thing you can sell, the better salesperson you are. Simple. Really? Seriously,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so become, for example, I sometimes tell people, become a toilet paper salesman. Simple. Just take a business card, go sell it to somebody. Learn selling skills. So you don't have to wait for college to finish to launch all of this. Learn to sell. Number one rule is that, learn to sell. Number two rule is learn to talk to people. Because there is, selling is, one thing actually we say, you can only sell to friends, make friends. So learn to make friends. I mean, I know you are very good at this, mashallah, very nice. But not everybody is, right? So learn to make friends. How do you talk to people? How are you nice to them? At the same time, boundaries. So when you're talking to people, don't cross the boundary. Don't go into personal spaces, right? Don't make a problem for yourself and others. But at the same time, you should be able to talk to people, different kinds of people, different levels of people. Somebody is a professor, somebody is something else. You can't talk to everybody at the same level. These are very, very critical skills, right? So I would say if you are serious about being an entrepreneur, the sooner you start, the better. And you don't have to wait for the great idea. You don't have to wait for the actual thing which you will do. Learn the skills. You don't have to have a startup idea and a startup model to learn the skill of selling. So do those things. And again, another one is how do you present your product? Most people present it in terms of features. No, talk in terms of benefits. How does my feature benefit that person? Talk in terms of benefit, it will sell itself. The problem with features is, especially with technical people, I always tell them, techies talk in features and techie terms, which half the world doesn't understand.
Yeah, okay. I totally see, I agree. Even though a lot of times when we we describe the features, but why someone will hear our features? This is very good. Thank you, Sheikh. Uh, See, there are so many other things about you that I want to talk. But before that, I want to ask, like, mashallah, you are on different. You are in a position where a lot of people want to be. Even I want to be, and you have done a lot of great things. You have achieved a lot of things. What are the situations, circumstance, event, or people who help you to become who you are today?
Really, if sometimes I think to myself that when I meet Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, when people meet Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, He will question them. Right? He will ask them what you do and so on and right wrong. When I meet Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, with all due respect, I will ask Him, and I will say, why me? Meaning that in my whole life, to me, is a series of miracles. Mu'jiza, series of miracles. Because the kind of people Allah Subhanahu wa Taala caused me to meet at different stages of my life, and how those people went out of the way to help me. It's incredible. I have no reason, I do not deserve any of that. Those people gained literally nothing from me. I was always a very, very good student or mentee of whoever mentored me. That much I'll tell you. I mean, no mentor of mine ever had to wait for me. No mentor of mine ever had to complain about anything. I was always early. To this day, I'm never late. I always take notes, all of this stuff. But what they gave me is something which I cannot possibly describe. People, and amazing people. My mentors were in Hyderabad nobility. They were among the noblemen of Hyderabad and women. People who taught me, including physics. For example, some people who taught me horse riding. Right? One of the big Nawabs of Hyderabad. He taught me how to ride a horse. For what? I mean, I am not related to him, nothing. Right? I was just a friend of his son's, and I used to hang out there, and that's how I learned. So many things like this, which I learned from people, and then also I learned by observing very closely. I think two things: asking questions very respectfully and observing very closely, and clearly, like how do you eat, how do you drink? When somebody meets somebody else, how are they meeting? When they are in a particular kind of company, how do they behave? All of this, just listening and watching. So this is something from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. So I learned. The other thing also I learned was that I listen very carefully to people, especially people who give me feedback. I listen very carefully to them. I appreciate people who give me critical feedback. That sounds maybe dumb, but it's not. I don't go seeking for, I don't say, please tell me something bad. No, I don't do that. People will tell you without asking. But when somebody tells you, like just yesterday somebody told me, something which, one of my very good friends, he told me, I think you have reached your peak. Right? He told me this to my face. Now, to me, I find this very motivating.
Okay.
And you might say, well, people get discouraged. I don't get it. I get hugely motivated when somebody tells me something like this. That I think you have reached your peak. Because then the thing to me was, okay, I'm going to show you.
Oh, okay. I like it. I like the mindset. Okay.
I'm going to show you. I will write down the date and the space and the point and the time at which you told me I have reached my peak, and I'm going to come back to you 5 years from now. And then I'll show you what's the peak. So I get very motivated when somebody gives me this kind of feedback. Many people say, how discouraging. No, I find it very encouraging. So it's a question of attitude. How do you learn from situations which many people might find adverse? Everything is value neutral in life. This is what I see here. Everything is value neutral. How it affects you is what you decide. So the power is in your hands. It's like the remote control. Take it. People give away the remote control to somebody else. He made me. How can anybody make you feel anything? It's your feelings are your feelings. Nobody can make you feel sad, glad, bad, mad. It's up to you, right? What you want to do. If somebody says something, I choose to be affected by that, negatively or positively. Why would I choose to be affected negatively? I got no reason. I would always want to be affected positively, and that is always possible. no matter what somebody is saying or doing. I'm not talking about somebody physically assaulting you, that's a different thing. Hopefully that won't happen. And learn to fight if that happens. But the point is that, other than that, they can only say something. Treat it, the way you take it, alhamdulillah. So, that's I think, I don't know if that answers the question, but that's...
Yeah, I have some follow-up questions.
Okay.
I have one question, but before that, I will ask this question. You said that you choose what you want to take from that. How will you say you were like this, like taking everything positive, all the things that spark you to do the greater things? You were like this since the beginning, or there was a phase of life then you become like that?
That's a good question. I don't know if I can put any particular date or time on that, but I think, right at the beginning when I was growing up, when I was in school, I was very, very self-conscious. I was very shy, I was very self-conscious. There was a time when I went through a phase where I was very, very low self-confidence, very low self-confidence. I don't think I ever fell into depression or despair or anything, but definitely very low self-confidence. And then it all started coming up. I had a very, very wonderful mentor at that time. I used to call her Auntie Mohini Rajan, who really helped me enormously in building that confidence. And I had another mentor who was her younger brother, whose name was Brother Venkatama Reddy, with whom I used to spend all my summer and winter holidays. I would spend there. He had a house on the bank of a river in the middle of the forest in India, in Satpura, and I would go and spend the whole of summer and the whole of winter there. That house had no electricity, it had no running water, right? It was just a house. So I lived for months there. No power, you rise up with the sun, you sleep with the sun.
Okay.
Yeah. And you had one kerosene lantern that would be there just to give you some light, that's it. Otherwise the moonlight, if there is moon. If there's no moonlight, a little bit of kerosene lantern. Thoroughly, I have lived in the forest and enjoyed nature like nobody's business. So I think this period is what built my confidence. And then as soon as I finished my college, my bachelor's, I went off to Guyana, South America. And I lived there in the middle of the Amazonian rainforest for 5 years. I ran a mining town. So today when people who are 21, 22 years old and they say, oh, but I can't go here, I can't go there, and they have, I said, when I was 22 years, I was running a town.
Okay.
So you're telling me, so sorry, I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
So I did that, and that I think really gave me enormous confidence, because it was like I got dumped into the middle of the sea, so I had to learn to swim, and there was nobody else. So I did.
Okay, so we talk about the low self-confidence. I don't know, it just came to my mind. I think so far we have heard number of people, everyone say that I was a low self-esteem in the beginning, and I think this is like more than 95%.
Yeah, it happened.
So wait, what do you think? I think based on your story, I think it feel like when you get hard situation, when you came out from that hard situation, you become like more self-confidence. What I realized. What do you think about how someone is low self-esteem and or low confidence and more confidence? What make people confident?
I think what makes people confident, or really actually what helps in any situation, is how you deal with that experience you had. And I think two things are very important. One is for you to reflectively, I call it reflective observation. So reflect on what happened. Right? Say for example, you go into, you apply for a job, you get called to an interview, you have the interview. Now when you come out of the interview, you must do two things. Firstly is reflective observation. Is think about this in detail and say, how did I do this interview? And try to go into as much granular detail as you can. How did I sit? How did I talk? Did I make eye contact or not? When I was speaking, was I using a lot of non-words? Saying oh, was I speaking too fast, too slow? Go into as much granular detail as possible. What was the reaction of the interviewer? What did they look like? What was their facial expression? Possibly, or you're guessing obviously, but still to that extent. So, what questions were asked? How did I answer those questions? Reflective observation. So reflect on the actual experience. After you do that, it's very important to do what I call conceptualization. So form a concept out of that. So say that in an interview, therefore, what should I do more of? What should I do less of? What should I start doing? What should I stop doing?
Okay.
To make a framework. Start, stop, do more, do less. Right? And say in an interview, what must I do? From my experience, what did I do? So experience is not just one whole, mass of thoughts and feelings. It is something which you have taken this mass of thoughts and feelings and extracted from it actual teachable points. That is what helps.
Okay.
So get structured with the experience. Everybody has an experience. You, me, and the cup. We all have experience. But what you learn from that is what makes a difference. So, like they say, experience is not what happens to you. Experience is what you do with what happens to you.
Okay, interesting. I like it.
Yeah. So experience. You drive a car on the road. You have experience. What did you learn from that? So always, my father's I must give the credit for this to my father. My father always used to say, "What did you learn? No matter where you are." So I go out to my friends' car, I come back, what did you learn? I'm thinking myself, I didn't go to learn anything. I just went to hang out with my friend. I just went to play ball with them or something. What did you learn? Whatever you went for, what did you learn?
Okay.
Now this is a very, very powerful tool. So if you train yourself to say, ask this question always, what did I learn? Imagine, believe me, you will learn a hell of a lot. Now I add to that and say, write it down.
Okay.
What is it? For example, I worked for a family business in India for 10 years. And because of my location, because of the fact that I speak Tamil fluently and these were Tamil entrepreneurs and so on, I became very good friends with the founder, Mr. A.M. Arunachalam. It's a $4 billion company. The whole group is a $4 billion group, 25 different companies and so on. And he passed away. So he was the boss. He was the founder, chairman. So he used to come and we were located in Kanyakumari. In India, if you take the Indian map, the bottom, we were there at that time. And there was a temple there that he and his wife used to go and worship at. So he would come and stay with us and then he would go to the temple. So in the evening, we would sit, and because I speak Tamil, he used to speak English fluently also, but people like to speak their own language. So because I speak Tamil fluently, he and I would have long conversations. And I would ask him, I would tell him, please tell me, how did you start this business? How did your family start the business? They started in Burma. In those days, Myanmar, it was Burma. They started in Burma, they got thrown out of there, they came to India, they started. How did all this happen? And then I would ask him, as a family businessman, how does it work? You are the founder, how does it work? Second, third, fourth generation, how do you... Now, literally, A.M. Arunachalam was the man who kind of, taught me, mentored me about the whole business of family businesses. Now, what I would do is I would talk to him, listen to him very carefully, ask him questions. Many of those questions I would have previously, created for myself. I said, this is what I'm going to ask him next time I meet him. I would do that. I would take notes, and the result of that was that in 2010 I published my book called The Business of Family Business, and I dedicated that book to his memory. Right? The Business of Family Business, which talks about family businesses, how do you do and what, and the whole issue of mentoring and so on, so on, so on. So my knowledge of family businesses comes from this, from actually having worked for 10 years in a family business and being so close to the founder and being mentored by the founder himself. So now when I go and talk to family business clients, I'm talking from an extremely rooted, experiential place. I'm not talking some theory which I learned in business school. I went to one of the best business school in India, but that's not where I'm talking from. I'm talking from actual, getting my feet on the ground and hands dirty. So that's what you need to do. So convert that experience in a structured way into a teachable, learnable format, which is conceptualization. That must happen. That whole cycle must happen.
Perfect. Thank you. See, you use the word mentor a lot, and I think you're also very good mentor. You help people, and okay. So I want to ask, okay, define what is mentor, and my second question is how someone can be a good mentor. What does good mentor means?
Okay, excellent. Very good question. So, who is a good mentor? First question, right? A good mentor is somebody who is interested in you and who knows how to help you to get to where you want to get.
Okay.
That's a good mentor. How do you become a good mentor? First of all, I think mentoring is something which is, I would say it's something which is even inborn. Not everybody can be a good mentor. So it's not something you go to take a mentoring class or something, no. You have to have that desire to help people to begin with. That's why when you asked me the first question, I said I am a problem solver and bridge builder. That's how I define myself. My name is Yawar. Yawar means one who solves problems. One who helps people. Yeah? Yavari Karna. Somebody is to help somebody. So that's my parent, president, gave me that name. So to help people. This is my nature. I like to help people. I get a lot of satisfaction when I help people. And I mean, this is also my business. I'm a business consultant, but I don't do it only for business. I help people all the time, and I love doing it. Right? So that nature has to be there. So if you want to be a good mentor, ask yourself: am I somebody who has a desire to help? It's not a question of good and bad. Supposing you say, no, sorry, I don't think I want to talk to people. I'm okay with myself, right? You want help? Go find somebody else. A friend in need is no friend of mine. I mean, all of this is fine also. This is nothing wrong with that. That's your nature. So I would say in that case, don't try to do mentoring. You will probably make a lousy mentor because you have no interest in the person. So don't do it. There's no need for everyone to do everything, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you have it in you to say, I would like to help. So first thing is that. Second thing is, I would say if you want to be a mentor, specialize. Say mentoring in what? For example, I do not do mentoring in finance. That's not my line. Right? So I will do mentoring in leadership. I love leadership. I think I'm a good leader. I know how to do it. I know how to help you do it. So that's my line. So my line is leadership. So I will talk to and I will work with business leaders, business founders, owners, family heads. But if you say, well, we also need a financial construct or a business, I say, I have a friend, I have a colleague, I will take you to him, you work with him, not my line. So don't try to do everything for everyone, doesn't work. So pick what makes sense to you. So you might say, well, technology is my area, I will be a mentor in technology. But the person now says, okay, we are doing great here, but we need to build an organization, what must we do? Pick up the phone, call me. Right? So yeah. So so pick yourself. So first of all, do you want to help people? If you want to help people, fantastic. If you don't want to help people, also fantastic. It's not a good and bad thing. Second thing is, help people do what? Pick your piece which gives you, and I always say, don't look at it from the perspective of how much money can I make, which do it purely for your own satisfaction. Do it purely to see the joy in somebody else's face. Money will come, man. Working for money is the lousiest way of living your life, believe me. Seriously. By all means, charge a fee. That's a different thing. But don't do it for that reason. Do it because it gives you joy. But that's the main thing is that. That way you live longer, you live happier.
Okay, I will come to the money part. I think my generation need to know that answer. But you already talked about the mentor. What about the mentee? Let's talk about mentee and how someone can be good.
Absolutely, and that's the real question. How can you be a good mentee?
Yeah.
Very important. If you are a mentee, go into the mentoring arrangement like a patient who has severe stomach pains, stomach cramps, goes to a doctor. Right? How does he go? He goes as somebody in dire need. I am dying. My stomach is like, it's on fire. I have to do something. Now, you won't say, the doctor says, okay, come right now. How bad is it? Oh, I'm dying. Okay, come right now. Will you say, you know what? I don't have time now. Can I come tomorrow morning? Will you say, no way. Right? Will you say, I'm sorry, I don't think I have time. Get your backside right here, right? I mean, it's your need. You are on fire, get here. So as a mentee, go to the mentor as somebody who is going to save you from death. Whatever the mentor says, if the mentor says, I am free at 3 a.m., you don't say to the mentor, sir, I'm sorry, 3 a.m. I'm in the middle of my second dream. No. 3 a.m. you go there. If the mentor says, what time is convenient for you? Whatever is convenient for you, I will make it convenient for me. Now he might say, well, I have some freedom in that, so then no problem, then you tell him. But I've seen many times, people will come and they will say, I need some assistance from you, I need you to help me with this. And then if I tell them, okay, how about 4 p.m. tomorrow? Oh, but you see, I'm not free. I don't care if you're not free. You came to me, right? What do you mean you're not free? So why did you come to me? Go away. So don't do that. Be serious. Number one. Number two, the mentoring relationship is not a friendship. Be very clear. It is not a friendship. The mentor is not your pal. Even if he is your pal. Right? It might be, for example, if you and me might say, after all, you are much older, you are old enough to be my father, maybe even older and so on. So there is a power distance. But even if the mentor is your own classmate, in that mentoring relationship, treat him with respect. He is a teacher. He is not your friend. Right? So treat him with respect. Number three, that means take notes. Don't take a phone or don't take a recording device and put it there. No. Notes, write down. Because the idea of notes is not simply to record what was said. It is to record what did I understand from what was said.
Yeah, okay.
That's important. Notes is not simply to say, he said this and this and no. That the recording device will do. Take notes. What should take away? Fourth thing is ask questions. Right? Ask questions. So once you do that, and of course, if the question will generate for you some other answer, this is good. So do these four things and you'll be a fantastic mentee. Treat the thing with respect. The main thing is that people they have an appointment, they won't show up. Then the mentor is waiting. What kind of thing is that? They have an appointment, they will come late. I had a funny thing. Bass FinTech, they asked for mentors. So I registered. I said, I am happy to be a mentor. They assigned this lady to me. She was the Indian young woman who was in one of the colleges, I think Brandix or one of the colleges. So the Bass FinTech people, they tell me mentoring all online, so phone or something. Call from this time to this time. She doesn't show up. Doesn't show up, we don't know where she is, what she is. I sent reminder after reminder. I said, look, they have not been in touch with me. I don't know if she is here, if she has left the country, or what she has done. Nothing. And that's no good. Right? That is no good. Treat the relationship with respect. And in case, for example, one of the things which happens, you didn't ask me, but I'll tell you, sometimes what happens with mentoring, and that's why I have what I call my chemistry call, the first call. Right? To see if the chemistry matches. It is very important for the mentor and the mentee chemistry to match. Again, it's a human thing. Nothing good or bad about it. With some people, you simply cannot, the chemistry doesn't match. You cannot, for whatever reason, the mentee and the mentor don't gel. In that case, get another mentor. Don't torture yourself, it won't work. The mentor himself will not be interested, mentee will not. So it has to be. Now, you don't have to be in love with them, but it should be a pleasant experience for you. That's very important. For both parties, it must be a meeting which they both look forward to and they both enjoy. So even though it's not a friendship, it should not be a pain. It should not be, oh my God, I've got a mentor meeting. No. So that's also important to be a mentee. So pick somebody you get along with, you have a good chemistry with, treat it with respect. It's not a friendship, it's not a hangout session. Always take notes. Never ever be late. If you have to go and sleep on the doorstep, go sleep on the doorstep. Never be late. No excuses. Please understand this thing. Absolutely no excuses whatsoever. I don't care if there is a rainstorm, I don't care if there is a snowstorm, I don't care anything. If you are to be there, you will be there no matter what. As long as you are alive. If you are dead, then your funeral announcement will come. But right? But if you are alive, you will be in that meeting at that particular time. Treat that responsibility, treat the relationship with that. Believe me, I have seen every mentor of mine did for me 1,000 times more than I could have expected. And with due humility, I am saying, the reason was that they saw how serious I was and never ever treated that relationship with anything more than the utmost respect. So that's important.
Wow, thank you, Sheikh. I think this is the need of my generation. I think this is need for everyone. And Sheikh, I've seen, like even today, like whenever you are very exact to the time, like if you say you are there, regardless of situation, even though I say from last 3 years, like if you say you are there.
Yes.
So we talk about the money. I will come to my another question, but we talk about the money. Do things that you like or don't want toward the money. I don't know, but I think I'm also one of them, and I've seen a lot of people like even though we choose the major, we choose to do what where we will make a lot of money. What is your thought about that? What is your opinion about that?
My opinion about it is that never do something for how much money it will make.
Okay.
It's a lousy thing. For very simple reason is that money is never a great motivator. So once you make a certain amount of money, what will you do with it? Okay, you have a $1 million house, right? One big mansion. Then you've got a Lamborghini or whatever you want to drive, whichever guy you want. I've got enough money to fly first class anywhere I want to go. Then what to do? Eat gold? No, really, it makes no sense. The point is, it makes much more sense to focus on what is it that makes that money. So it's something which gives me joy, something which gives me satisfaction, something which is really useful, worthwhile. I'm changing the world in a positive way because of that. It also makes me humongous amounts of money. So that's fantastic. What's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? I'm creating, for example, a product which the entire world will use. And they find it enormously beneficial. The people are benefiting from this product. Automatically, it will make me money. If I am making a product which is selling which is on every phone, every laptop, it won't make money. You can't help it. It will happen. Don't do it for that reason. Right? I mean, then why not become a drug dealer? I mean, that's it makes you a lot of money. And a lot of people will be very happy. No, do something which is honorable, do something which is beneficial, do something which gives you joy just for doing it. That's why my rule to myself is, I charge a fee. I charge a fee that I believe is commensurate with the value that I produce. But every time I charge a fee, I ask myself, would I do this if the person paid me nothing? And the answer is yes. Right? Don't tell my clients this. I would. If my answer is no, then I won't do it. I don't care how much you pay me. That's why almost 80% of my work is pro bono, it's free. 80% of my work. Because I work with schools, I work with colleges, I work with students. They are all poor. They don't have money. And they need the kind of work I do in terms of leadership development. So my answer to myself is if I don't do this, who will do it? There's nobody. Right? They can't pay for it. Now if I'm contributing to their benefit, I'm actually building, at least I tell myself, I'm building a better world because I'm creating leaders. These people today they can't afford to pay my fees, doesn't matter. I'm so old that by the time they grow up and become leaders, I'll be dead and gone. But that doesn't matter. Point is, I would have created a generation which has ethics and values and which has a motivation to help other people and to change the world, make it a better place. I would like to feel that it's something like that, right? So if that particular one didn't make me money, I don't care because I have other clients who can afford to pay me, and that's enough for me. Also, I think it is very important not to be greedy beyond a point. So my point is, I'm not into. I don't care about which car I sit in. Frankly, makes no difference to me. Right? As a rule, I never buy a new car. I always buy a second-hand car, a good quality second-hand car. I don't drive. I keep a driver because my driver needs that money to run his house.
Oh wow!
And I hate driving, so I don't care. So I have a driver who and I pay anyone who works for me. I pay them twice the market value, not equal. So benefit for me is that they are now unemployable. They can't leave me and go because nobody will pay them what I pay them, and they know that, so they do a brilliant job for me. So I do that, right? And I can travel anywhere I want. I have friends all over the place. I have a very nice and comfortable house. I'm not interested in another house. I'm not interested in a mansion. I'm not interested in a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. So I don't need to earn for that. So I earn enough. I am very happy. I'm very satisfied. I'm very grateful to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for giving me all these friends and giving me, a great lifestyle. What would you want? So work for the joy of doing that thing. Work for doing work in something which makes you feel that you're doing something worthwhile in the world and you will leave the world a better place when you go.
There is a question of 23-year boy who is just stepping into the market. I don't know, at this stage of me, and I think a lot of people of my age will relate, like, I don't know how much money we need, but we need more. So I don't know, it might be the age things. You were also like this, okay, I need enough money, or I want to conquer everything, I want to get all the money. Is this you were like this from the beginning, or after there is a certain age or after achieving something you become I think money is not like...
I was from day one I was like this.
Oh, okay.
I started I come from one of the noble families in Hyderabad, so I wasn't exactly born in hut. So that way we had enough around to live a good life. But when I started my first job, I started in Guyana. I went from India to South America, Guyana, and I landed in Georgetown. The airline at that time used to be called BWIA, British West Indian Airlines.
Okay.
And they used to say BWIA stands for But Will It Arrive? So it was. So in my case, I arrived, my 2 suitcases didn't arrive. And to this day, I don't know where those 2 suitcases are. Whoever got my stuff, I hope they enjoy it in good health. So I lost everything, every single thing, including my college degrees.
Okay.
My first time I was traveling internationally, I had no clue what international travel was like or going to be like. I was traveling alone. I was 21 years old, and I went from Hyderabad to Bombay. It used to be called Bombay in those days, not Mumbai. Hyderabad to Bombay, Bombay to London, London to New York, New York to Orlando, I think it was, and Orlando to Guyana. So this was the trip.
Yeah.
It took me 24 hours of flying time. Right? And I landed there, I had nothing, I lost everything. So I landed with a shirt on my back. I had my wallet, so I had some few US dollars. I went to a store, I bought myself some underwear and a pair of trousers. That's where I started. So the start was literally from the ground.
Okay.
And I've come to wherever I've come, alhamdulillah, I'm very happy with that. So from the beginning, my focus always was the quality of my work. What do I do? Must be the topmost quality, must be something which is satisfying to me, must be something which is high integrity, which is useful, valuable. I never ever thought of money in the sense of I must have more money, I must have this gadget or that gadget. Never. I never had that. And I am very happy with the fact that I never had that. And you can see, alhamdulillah, I have never lacked for anything. So, it comes, man. And seriously, I'm telling you, it comes. Focus on the value that you can create. Don't focus on how much money you can make. That's a very bad and wrong way of thinking. Focus on what value you can create. If you are creating value, money is the automatic output of that, automatic result of that. You don't have to ask for it, it will come. You can't help it, you have to run away. Give it away, Really, I'm saying seriously, there is no way that you cannot earn humongous amounts of money if you are producing humongous quality. Focus on value. What value can I create? You focus on value, money goes without saying. You don't even need to ask for it.
Wait a sec. I see the joy how you explain your work and how you're passionate about the work. So I have a question related to that. Because even though a lot of people on my timeline, they think that what to do, what not to do. And I see that calmness, that passion, that joy in your work and how you are describing. So you knew what you are doing, like what you wanted to become or what you wanted to do, and how and when did you figure out, oh, this is what I want to do?
From the beginning, I loved helping people. Now, I help people in different ways. This time I told you when I used to spend in this forest with Arlene, one of my closest friends was a guy called Shivaya. And Shivaya was a tribal, he was a gold tribal, and he literally lived in a grass hut, mud walls. And I would spend time with him. He and I would go in the forest, we would walk miles and miles and miles. The entire day would be in the forest. We'd come back, and sometimes I would sleep in his hut. I never slept inside the hut because the hut had him, his wife, his children, his dog, his goat, and so it smelled like all of those things. And smoke, and so I would sleep outside the hut on a cot. Initially, he would be very nervous because these forests have leopards and tigers, and so he, one day he told me, if you sleep here, something happens, you die. What happens? I said, no worry, tigers don't eat junk food, nothing will happen to me. So I'm fine, and I didn't want to tell you I can't sleep in the hut because of the smell of the goat and stuff. So anyway, from there, right, so I worked with all kinds of people. In Guyana, I worked with people who were complete. I was in that place called Kokwani, which was on the Berbice River. I was almost the only Indian guy. I was the only Indian guy, an Indian from India. But even Indian Guyanese, there was only one other family which were Indian Guyanese. All the others were African West Indian, right? Black people. Some were Chinese descent. So I was in an environment which was completely alien to my culture. No one from my religion. I was the only Muslim. So no one from my religion. Obviously, no one who spoke my language. So I learned Creole. So I speak Guyanese Creole as well. No one who spoke my language. Everything was different. I was there 5 years. Now I don't drink. I didn't drink there either. They used to drink. I mean, you have to see how Guyanese drink to know what drinking is, right? So so I would go, and one day I'm sitting there. This friend of mine tells me they used to call him Beggy. Yeah? So he said, "Man, Beggy." I said, "Yeah, what? You married?" I said, "Of course you know I'm not married." "Yeah, I know you're not married. You got a girlfriend?" I said, no, but I don't have a girlfriend. He said, tell me something. You're not married, you have no girlfriend. How you Indians make all them babies, man? I mean, your country's got so many. Your country got so many people. How you Indians make all of them babies? All of them like you? If all of them like you, how come all these babies, where they come from? So that's the kind. So I went into this completely alien environment, but I made some friends who are friends of mine to this day. That's from 1979. From 1979, we're talking 2025. Imagine the number of days. Some of them are my friends to this day. One of them is the former Prime Minister of Guyana, Mr. Sam Hind, who is now just now he's in Washington. He's the minister, he's the ambassador of the West Indies. Friend to this day.
So I will ask you one very selfish, I think very personal question. I got the platform, so I will not miss this. You talk about like career. What will you say to the people like me who don't know what I want to do?
What I say to people like you who don't know what to do is this is one of the most important things that you should take time out and sit and figure out. You should get a life goal. Right? I've got a couple of friends like you who always tell me this, I don't know what to do. I said, your time is passing. Whether you know what to do or you don't know what to do, time is passing. Right? So sit down and do that.
Okay.
Get yourself a life goal. You can't get this in Walmart. You have to sit. You got to sit down. One of the best ways is to ask yourself. That's why a level of self-awareness is very important. Ask yourself, what is it that really excites you? For example, I told myself, I like helping people. So once I'm clear about that, I like helping people, then it's an easier thing. Helping people do what? So helping people do this, whatever, right? So ask yourself, what is it that really motivates you? What do you really like to do? And when I say like to do, I'm not talking about money. Something you will do for free because you just love doing it. What is that thing? Right? Figure that out. Another way is to look at what different people do and see what excites you. You say, oh my God, this guy is doing something fantastic. That's lovely. I want to do that. For example, we pray Tarawih behind Sheikh, right? His recitation, may Allah bless him. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So when you pray behind him, you get motivated. Oh, I wish I could recite like this. Now, it's not a question of wish. If you really wish you could recite like that, go sit with the man, learn how to recite. He'll teach you. So, but that's what motivates you. So even though you may not have started there, when you hear somebody doing something or you see somebody doing something, you say, oh my God, this is something fantastic. I would like to do this. So, but get yourself a life goal. It's very, very important. Time is passing. The longer you sit around and say, well, I have no goal, time is still passing. Morning, evening. Next thing you know, time has passed. And as time passes, windows of opportunity shut. This is also very important. So, you need to get a life goal while the windows are still open. Otherwise, you say, I wish I had done that. No wish. Think about it early enough, you'll do it.
Yeah, thank you, Sig. In a lot of times it's like, even though you talk that you want to make the better world the way you help the people. And I think you are one of the best version of yourself because you are a kind of very good version of who you are. So given that those exact situations, circumstance, event and people cannot be replicated today, what would you advise anyone who aspire to be like you or who want to be the best version of themselves?
Grow a white beard.
Time will come.
Time will come, that's right. See, I agree with you. It's very true. Obviously, we cannot recreate Ramareddy and we cannot recreate Adilaban. So that is true. However, if you take those instances and say, what did I learn? How can I replicate that? That is possible. The actual location, the geography, the individuals are not there. They have passed away. But the learnings. For example, one day I was out the whole day in the forest. As I was coming back in the night, at about, must have been around, say 7 o'clock. It was just getting dark. Now, this house is on, say, the left bank of the river, there's the river there, and on the right bank is where the forest starts. So, over the right bank, there's a sort of a hill. So, as I came up the hill, I suddenly saw a deer. I saw a cheetah, a spotted deer, a big spotted deer, buck, big antlers. And almost like a reflex action. I used to hunt in those days. Now I don't hunt anymore. Literally like a reflex action, I picked up my rifle and I fired, hit the deer straight in the chest. It just went boom and it ran. Now I tried to follow up, but it was getting dark. It got dark. I saw some blood. It was light colored blood, so I knew the bullet went through the lung. And I searched, couldn't find the deer. It became dark. Now, obviously I didn't want to be in the forest, that dark. So me and Shiva was with me. So Shiva and I, we crossed the river, we came on this side. Now Uncle Rama is sitting there. He asked me, he used to speak always only in Urdu. So he asked me, "Kya mare naam? Bandok kya awaaz?" He said, "Well, what did you shoot? I heard the sound." So I said, "Uncle Rama, I shot a deer, blood, spotted deer, male." He says, "Kahan?" He said, "Where is it?" I said, "Run away." So you are telling me that you wounded an animal and you left a wounded animal in the forest? Now this conversation is happening around maybe 8, 9 o'clock in the night. Pitch dark. I want to tell him, what do you expect me to do? Right? I shot the animal, I didn't want to wound him, I shot the animal. I saw lung blood, so obviously it is mortally wounded. It's pitch dark. How do I find it? I can't track it. But all this you don't say, because he is an elder, you shut your mouth. So I didn't say anything. He tells me, "Acha, theek hai. Have your dinner, go back and get it."
Serious?
Exactly. Are you serious? I was 17 years old at that time. I was 17 years old. You don't ask him, "Are you serious?" He is serious. So I said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." I washed up, had my dinner. Shiva had his dinner. He said, "Jump." He said, "Go." Then what does he do? At that time, I shot the deer using a 7.62 8mm rifle. So I picked up the rifle. He said, "Hey, keep that." He got me a shotgun, double barrel. He put buckshot in it. He told me, "Now you're going into the forest. Whatever you see, you're going to see close up. I don't want you fiddling around with the rifle because if you miss the shot, it will be a problematic thing. So use buckshot. It has a spread like that, you will never miss." So he said to me, "Don't shoot a tiger, don't shoot a leopard, don't shoot a bear unless you are attacked." And being attacked is a possibility. 17-year-old kid is sending out. I went. We crossed the river. Shiva and I, we went. We crossed the river, went to the other side. And Shiva tells me, "Sir, you know what? We can't go and find this deer now in the night. In any case, by now it is dead. It's pitch dark, we'll never get it. So we'll go to the village, we sleep there, early morning, first light, we'll take dogs and we'll go and find it." I said, "Okay." So went there, I slept on the cot, on a cot outside his house. He brought me some curds and so on, so I had that. First light in the morning, we got up, took dogs, went into the forest. Literally, from where I shot the deer, it went about 200 meters and fell into a ravine. There was a ravine there. He fell into the ravine. Obviously, that's why we couldn't see him. We brought the deer back. But the point I'm saying, the reason for the story is, now what did I learn from this? What I learned from this is that in the mentoring process, teach the mentee to own responsibility for their actions. Right? Don't solve problem for them. put them into the same situation. You created the problem, you solve it. But take care of the safety features.
Yeah,
So
I want
people
to
like-
cross disclosure.
take care of it. So he is sending me, he's not, I was 17 years old, but he knew, he trained me. So he knew that I was not the average 17-year-old guy. I knew how to take care of myself. I could read science, I knew how I could handle a weapon very comfortably, very easily, because I had handled weapons. I was a crack shot with a rifle, I was a crack shot, I could shoot duck flying, which I had done many times. So he knew that I was capable of, and then what does he do? He takes the rifle away and says, no, even with all of this, I want you to be absolutely safe, so take a shotgun. But he is not saying, okay, I'll come with you. No. You created the problem, you solve the problem. And you're not going to solve it, you're going to solve it now. Middle of the night, big deal. That's called life. Right? So now this is a huge learning in the sense of owning responsibility for your actions. And this is teachable. You don't need the forest and the all the. That is one way in which, but this is teachable to whoever it is. And that's what I do now, whoever is that's why I tell people, whoever wants me to be their mentor is demented. Because I'm not an easy mentor. I'm a very difficult mentor, I'm a very tough mentor. That's the kind of mentors I had, which helped me enormously. And I am not going to mollycoddle you. I'm not going to say, no, mom, that's your mom's job. I don't look like your mom, right? So I'm not doing your mom's job. Let your mom do that job. As far as I'm concerned, you come to me seriously to learn, I will teach you. But if you are not serious, then sorry, goodbye. I have a respect for my time. If you have no respect for my time, salam alaikum.
So we are almost at the end of the podcast. I know it was there, but I have one. I saw something on your signature, email signature, and I thought that this podcast I will end in different way. Please put a light on your email signature. I will not allow what is not in my control to prevent me from doing what is in my control.
Yes. That's my motto in life.
Okay.
And that's based on, the motto is, I will not allow what is not in my control to prevent me from doing what is in my control. Because the reality is, no matter who you are, whether you are the President of the United States of America, who is supposed to be the most powerful man on earth, or you are Mirza Yawar Baig, who is a poor man who is trying to do his job, no matter what, there will always be things in your control, and there will always be things which are not in your control. Even if you are sitting in a prison somewhere, there will be things you can do. And even if you are the king of the world, there will be things you cannot do. So if you take a thing and you choose to define it in a way, I call it globalizing of a problem. For example, if I ask you, Miraj, how can you solve the homelessness problem in America? You got the most wealthy country in the world, and you got a lot of homeless people, veterans and others and so on, standing on street corners begging, living out of a shopping cart, sleeping in some hole somewhere, right? Terrible. It's horrible. It's a disgrace to this nation. Why do we have people like this? Suppose how can you solve the homelessness? What will you tell me? You will tell me, Sheikh, homelessness problem of America, how can I solve it? I'm a one person. But suppose I tell you, man, can you buy one homeless man a good meal tonight? What's the answer? Of course you can do that. Right? One man, one day. That's it. Of course you can do that. So it's a question of how you define the problem. How can I define the problem in the sense of what is in my control to do? I will do that. Even though at a mega level, there are many things which are not in my control. I'm not going to bother about that. I will not bother about that. How can I get people united? No. How can I be nice to my neighbor? How can we build unity in the people? No. How can I be nice to somebody who is disagreeing with me? That's unity. What is unity? Unity is that you have a different opinion, I have a different opinion, but we don't allow this opinion to become a wall. As I said, I'm a bridge builder. So I like to do that. I like to build bridges. I say, yes, sure, there are some things on which you differ, something on which I differ. It can be some fundamental things. For example, one of my greatest joys of living in America is the interfaith work which I do. I have Jewish friends, I have Christian friends, I have Sikh friends, I have Hindu friends, I have atheist friends, I've got everybody. Now, obviously, I'm a Muslim. Those people, what they believe, I don't believe in any of that. They don't believe in what I believe in. But we are great friends. We have meals together, we go and do things together, we do projects together, we help each other, we help together, we help other people. And we enjoy ourselves, we have a ball, absolutely. How is that? Even though we are miles apart in terms of some fundamental religious beliefs. Because you have to look beyond that. You say, okay, you and I differ on one thing, but we agree on 20 other things. So why do I allow this one thing which I differ to color my whole life? So that is the thing. The thing is how you choose to define. So I will not allow what is in my control. Now what is in my control today is to talk to you. I can put my life and soul into it. I can give you the best possible responses, the best possible podcast that you have ever done. It is my control, right? What is not in my control is how far will this go, how many people will listen to that, and so on and so on. Suppose I say, you know what, I wish I was talking to Farid Zakaria of CNN, or I wish I was talking to, somebody else, some big shot broadcaster. What's the point of talking to Mehraj? This will not, that's not the point. What is in my control today is to talk to you and give you the best possible podcast that I can possibly give you. That's in my control, right? What is not in my control, I don't bother about that. Because if I think about that, then what is in my control itself, I will not do. And net result, zero. So always think of what is in your control, you figure it out. And anytime somebody produces or presents you a problem and defines it in a global context, bring it down to a local context. How can we solve the problem of education? No. How can I educate one child? How can we solve world hunger? No. Can I feed one person? That is the whole thing, right? So,
I like the way you question the things. Like there is general question, but you make it specific that can be doable, and now you feel like I can do this. It is easy to do it. Thank you. I think this is a great note to end this podcast. Sheikh, thank you very much for coming to the podcast. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, wisdom, and I know there are a lot of things that I can personally take away from this podcast, and I'm sure there are a lot of takeaway for the people who are going to listen to this podcast. Thank you very much for coming to the podcast.
My pleasure, Mirza. And thank you very much for this opportunity.
Oh, thank you for 6 rounds again.
Walaikum salam.